Some superstitions warn us, others protect us. But the most terrifying ones, they exist for a reason. Good evening. This is Zyraxis, Keeper of the Vault. Enter if you dare. Tonight we uncover 15 of the most sinister Filipino superstitions. Let's start with number 15, whistling at night. Many Filipinos believe that it is an invitation to spirits that dwell in the unseen world. These entities, restless, mischievous, or outright malicious, mimic the whistle to lure their victims closer. One night in Zambales, two teenage boys took a shortcut home through a rice field. To break the eerie silence, one of them whistled a tune. Almost instantly, the wind stopped. The air felt thick, like something had sucked the life out of it. Then a faint whistle echoed from the darkness. They stopped, their breaths hitching. One boy, trying to be brave, whistled again, short and sharp. The reply came faster this time, closer. Panic surged through them, and they sprinted toward the village. When they reached home, their grandmother gasped, "Who followed you?" Confused, they turned around. No one was there, but the muddy footprints they left behind weren't just their own. Something else had followed them. It was not human, it was the Pugot. At number 14, laughing loudly at night. Laughter draws attention, and at night it may attract the wrong kind. In remote provinces, people believe that laughing too loudly invites aswangs or malevolent spirits. In Negros, 3 marites, women who love to gossip, sat outside their nipa hut, laughing past midnight. The air was still, and the cicadas had stopped chirping, a detail they hadn't noticed. Then one of them shushed the group. "Did you hear that?" A laugh, identical to theirs, mocked them from the treetops, raspy, hollow. They froze. The hut's roof creaked under sudden weight. A slow, deliberate scratching followed, like claws dragging across the thatch. Then, silence. The next morning, they found long, deep claw marks on the wooden beams. Many believe that sleeping with your feet toward the door makes it easier for spirits to pull you from your body, leading to sleep paralysis, or worse. This is superstition 13. Don't sleep with your feet facing the door. A young woman in Cavite rearranged her bed, unknowingly positioning her feet toward the door. That night, she woke up paralyzed. Her body refused to move. In the dim light, she saw it, a tall, faceless shadow in the doorway, its head slightly tilted as if observing. It took a step forward, then another. The darkness around it shifted as if breathing. It was the Batibat. Just before it reached her, the first rays of sunlight crept through the window. The shadow retreated, but outside her floor was covered in charred footprints. Superstition 12. If you smell flowers at night, someone will die. Strong floral scents, especially jasmine or calachuchi, are said to signal the presence of spirits collecting a soul for the afterlife. A man in Quezon City was walking home when he smelled a sudden, overpowering scent of jasmine. It clung to his clothes, suffocating. He looked around, the streets were empty, no flowers nearby. 3 days later, his uncle passed away. His mother later told him, "That scent, it means the dead are already choosing." Superstition 11. Don't cut your nails at night because it is believed to invite misfortune or worse, disturbed spirits lurking in the shadows. A little girl in Pampanga insisted on cutting her nails at night despite her grandmother's warning. That evening, as she lay in bed, she heard faint giggles beneath her mattress. She peered over the edge. Tiny, gnarled fingers, too small to be an adult's, too thin to be a child's, were reaching for her feet. She screamed. Her parents rushed in but found nothing. The next morning, scratch marks covered her ankles, and outside her window the soil had been disturbed, as if something had crawled out. A kumau, perhaps. It is said that once a coffin is closed, reopening it disturbs the soul's passage, trapping them between worlds. This is superstition number 10. At a wake in Batangas, a relative insisted on seeing the deceased one last time. Despite the elder's protests, she lifted the lid of the coffin. The candles flickered wildly, the air suddenly dense. That night, the family dog refused to enter the house. The next day, strange tapping sounds echoed from inside the coffin, though no one dared check again. Number 9. In Filipino culture, sleeping on a dining table invites spirits of the dead, as tables are seen as offerings to unseen forces. A farmer in Bicol fell asleep on his wooden dining table one afternoon. When he woke, his body was ice cold. His wife found him muttering in a language he did not speak, his pupils dilated. A local healer performed a ritual, revealing that the table was used centuries ago in a sacrificial ceremony, and something had claimed him for itself. A mambabarang. Sweeping at night is said to drive away luck, or worse, anger the unseen spirits that dwell in the corners of the home. Our superstition 8. A housemaid in Laguna ignored her elderly employer's warning and swept the floor past midnight. The next morning she woke with deep bruises on her legs, as if tiny hands had gripped her tightly. The old woman only shook her head. The duende don't like being disturbed. Superstition 7. Don't go straight home after a wake. After attending a wake, people often stop somewhere else before heading home. This prevents spirits from following them. A man in Manila went straight home after attending a wake. That night, his dog growled at the corner of the room. His wife woke up screaming. Something cold had breathed on her neck. A medium later confirmed it. A restless soul had followed him home. You've heard this warning before. Never point at trees, especially the massive gnarled ones. Our superstition number 6, because someone or something might be watching. In Laguna, Mark and his friends were out ghost hunting. He smirked as he pointed at an ancient balete tree. "What's so scary about this?" he laughed. But as he lowered his hand, he felt a sharp pain in his finger like a burn. By midnight he was delirious, burning with fever. His grandmother knew exactly what happened. "You offended them," she whispered. The culprit, they rushed to perform an offering, white eggs, rice and a lit candle. The moment the offering was placed beneath the tree, Mark's fever broke, but his hand, his finger remained blackened as if scorched by unseen eyes. Superstition 5. Don't open an umbrella indoors. An umbrella's purpose is to shield you from the rain, but indoors it is not protection, but a summoning. Lorna from Cavite opened a black umbrella inside her house, laughing off her mother's horrified gasp. That night, as she lay in bed, she heard it. Soft breathing, not hers, not anyone else's. She turned to her dresser mirror. Her reflection wasn't facing her. It was turned to the side, watching something behind her. Oro, plata, mata, gold, silver, death. This is superstition number 8, Puase, the curse of the third stairs. If your stairs end in mata, misfortune follows. A couple in Vigan moved into an ancestral house. They ignored the warnings about the stairs. On their first night, the wife woke to slow, creaking footsteps on the staircase. When she turned to wake her husband, he wasn't breathing. A fatal heart attack, the doctor said. But the old caretaker only muttered, "The stairs ended in mutter." At number is wearing a wedding dress before the day of the ceremony. A bride in Batangas wore her dress before her wedding. That night, she had a nightmare. A shadow stood by her bed. She fell ill. Every time she rescheduled the wedding, something went wrong. Only when she burned the dress did her luck return. Don't look in a mirror at night. This is superstition number 2. A student in Davao stared at her reflection at midnight as a dare. Then she saw it. Her reflection blinked, but she hadn't. It is good to have visitors, but not at 3 in the morning. In Baguio, a man heard 3 knocks at 3 a.m. He opened the door. No one was there. The next morning he found handprints on his window from the inside. The Kumakatok came to visit. Some superstitions are just old stories, but others exist for a reason. So tell me, which of these have you experienced? And if you ever hear a knock at 3 a.m., would you answer? Subscribe and stay safe, because some things should remain undisturbed. This is Xeraxis, keeper of the vault. Sweet dreams, if you dare.